Hi, I'm Ione Cranick. I'm here to read a series of books today. I have had the pleasure of illustrating 4 different books. The first one I have done is collaboration with my sisters. We've had it printed and published ourselves, and it's about a playhouse that my grandfather built for us when we were little. Grandpa had lost his arm in a combine accident many years ago, and when he moved in to help raise us girls with my grandma, he took it upon himself to build a playhouse. And it's just a little story of so many memories of us girls in the playhouse. My sisters, my mom's name was Shirley May. I'm Ione Ray, Zelda Gay, and Nona Faye. And of course, that was a topic of much conversation when we were little, that it was meant to be in a book. So here we go. Penelope, The House of Pretend, illustrated by Ione Cranick, written by Zelda Lachinsky and Nona Faye McMillan. This book is dedicated to our grandparents, Elvin and Lillian Carlberg, and our mother, Shirley May Lachinsky. They named me Penelope when I was first made, for children to play in and drink lemonade. A long time ago, my lifetime began, merely a thought of a gentle old man. Grandpa and Grandma lived on a farm. This grandpa was special. He had only one arm. One day, Grandpa explained to his wife, "Lily, I'm old. I'm tired of this life." So they packed up their things, sold the farm to their son. They moved into town. Their farming was done. They lived with their daughter and her 3 little girls, who were always dressed up with ribbons and curls. Shirley May, Ione Ray, Zelda Gay, and Nona Faye. Their mom didn't mind all the pets that they had. Sometimes there were messes, but she never got mad. A duck and a bunny and a pigeon named Dove, turtles and birds in their house full of love. Grandma had 12 granddaughters, and every Christmas we all got a new granny gown, flannelette granny gown from Grandma. She'd sew all year long and make pajamas for the boys, and the girls got nightgowns. Grandma kept busy canning with lids. She never minded extra help from the kids. She taught us a lot sitting on that stool in the kitchen. Grandpa was bored. He had little to do, so he called up his good friend, I think it was Stu. "With your special help, I think we could make a place for the girls to play dress up and bake." So Grandpa and Stu got busy with wood, and the little girls helped as best as they could. "This is for you," Grandpa declared. "What shall we call it?" The children all stared. "I never thought that I would be named." "How about Penelope?" the smallest exclaimed. There was a pause, a ponder, and then there were cheers. "That's a perfect name for your playhouse, my dears." Always had our cats and our bird. From that day forward, I heard giggles and squeals. There were girls in lace dresses, fancy hats, and high heels. Cold drinks were served with homemade mud pies. They were so tasty, it showed in their eyes. And now we've gone from the 3 little girls to adding all of our cousins. Tea was sipped from wee tiny cups, with everyone's pinkies standing straight up. Dollies were swaddled and sung right to sleep, placed in their cradles without even a peep. I still have that crib and the rocking chair that my mother's grandfather had built for her when she was little. Ring round the rosy, red rover, hide and go seek and any eye over. Games of all types, and that was fair ball. I'm happy to say I was part of it all. You never saw my grandmother sitting down unless she had a child on her feet or in her arms. To kids down the street, invitations they'd send for parties and such at the house of Pretend. And that was our dog Toya. That was my 10th birthday party. I had a castle cake that my grandma and my mom had made me. And we always had wiener roasts in our yard. Sometimes their cousins stayed overnight. After a story and prayers, they turned out the light. While the moon and the stars filled up the skies, the children all closed their wee little eyes. We had lots of sleepovers in the playhouse. Years passed by and I stayed the same. They'd hosted tea parties and so many games. The 3 little girls had started to grow from children to teenagers. How could I know that in through my door of magical play, it made me so sad when they all stayed away? Definitely a fashion statement of the early 70s with bell bottoms and mullet hairdos and platform shoes and hot pants. My sister and I were cheerleaders. My husband was a basketball star. That was when we were both thin. A summer day came when a trip we would make. Our new family home was a hill at the lake. The girls settled in, and not too long after, I was once again happy and filled full of laughter. And my grandma's cottage was called Lily's Lodge, and it was our new bunkhouse. They hardly could sleep that very first night. They couldn't relax, try as they might. They talked of their future and goals they would reach, music and hairstyles, cute boys on the beach. Time again passed, and I stood all alone. The eldest of 3, her name is Ione, asked the other 2 girls if it was okay that I move out to her place so her grandkids could play. So she gave me new shingles, new curtains and door, new kitchen cabinets, and rugs on the floor. And that's what the playhouse looks like today. Once again, I'm filled with giggles and squeals, little girls in lace dresses, fancy hats, and high heels. Now that I'm here, I hope I will stay in this beautiful yard to start each new day. The summer before we finished this book, a robin fell out of a tree in our yard, and I raised it that summer, and she loved it when the kids came over. She'd ride around on them. With more little girls and little boys too, Alexandra and Jade, to just name a few. Kobe and Jameson will play on their own. Their game is to see who'll take over the throne. And my grandson Kobe and my granddaughter Jade, Alexandra, Jameson, and Blakely. Jeter and Bella, our dogs. They make me so happy and take me away to far away places like the Drop-In Cafe. The food that they serve is made out of wood, hand painted with love and said to be good. Another hobby of mine is making playhouse food. At the end of the day, when the sun settles low, I say a small prayer, so grateful to know what it's like to be loved and held in the hearts of those 3 little girls. We never will part. I've lived a long time and was given such charm. I was lovingly built by the man with one arm. And here's a picture of Albin and Lillian Carlberg on their 25th wedding anniversary in 1945. That's my grandpa and grandma. This is Penelope today in 2014. Zelda Gay, Nona Faye, and Ione Ray with their mother Shirley May in 1962. And if you look, that's the outfits that we had on when we were helping Grandma can, only the polka dots are bigger. We were raised with the help of our grandparents in Fillmore, a small town in southeastern Saskatchewan. Our cousins and our playhouse were a very important part of our childhood. Grandpa and Grandma had 18 grandchildren, and all of us were very, very close, very busy, and grew up knowing the value of family and friends. Penelope now sits in Fairlight, Saskatchewan, and is once again a busy little spot in a small town. Ione takes an active role with her grandchildren and carries on with some of the traditions Grandma shared with us. We hope you enjoyed this story. It is true from beginning to end, and each page shares precious memories of the three little girls, Ione Ray, Zelda Gay, and Nona Faye. The end. I hope you enjoy Penelope, the House of Pretend.